Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday night and it is time for Moms Who Resell. So, I do this weekly live show if this is your first time joining me, and I meet with other reselling moms going over all the things resell. So, this week is actually no guest. It feels weird talking to myself for the first time in 6 months. I think I've been doing the show now since March. And I've been very lucky to meet some amazing, amazing resellers and moms doing this show. And well, I don't have a guest today. I thought I would still kind of answer questions that people have and do this as kind of a live Q&A. While we're waiting for some people to hop on, I also wanted to tell you guys about a new Facebook group that I started. And it's basically when I started this whole show, it was because of wanting to create community. I wanted to meet other like-minded moms, other resellers, and have them on the show to meet them. Well, after the show ended, we said goodbye, and then there was really no more community. So I wanted to create this group, and that way everybody who's on the show and more people, anybody you want to invite, we can create this moms reselling community over there as well. So the Facebook group is just called Moms Who Resell. Definitely join it. It's public. I haven't put any restrictions, so anybody can join it. But I just wanted to extend this community because everyone is just so amazing and spread it over to Facebook. So let's head over to the comments. We've got Gretchen with us tonight. Welcome. Melanie couldn't make it tonight. She's having her anniversary dinner. So happy anniversary to Melanie and her husband. I guess that's more important. And then we've got welcome to my secret. We've been reselling for 27 years. I don't use eBay. What do you use? I'd like to hear that. I know there's many, many platforms. So what have you been using for the 27 years? And has it ever been eBay? Feel free to pop any questions into the comments because I do want to do this as kind of an open questions. If anyone has any reselling questions, I want to answer it tonight. So fire away. One thing I do want to go over was the question that I asked about a week ago, where I asked people to share any of their obstacles, any of their struggles in reselling. And I thought there were a lot of repeats in there. So I wanted to go over some of those. Tony, welcome. Excited to have you. So I wanted to answer some of those questions here while we're live. And I guess I'll start with the first one while we're waiting for some more questions to come in. Melanie actually asked if I ever source on HiBid, and I don't. I never have. I think I went over there maybe once or twice. I'm a little more hesitant with the auction websites because there's a lot of hidden fees. So if you you buy or source on any of those, let me know how it goes because I've always been nervous that I'm going to pay ridiculous fees to get my cheap item. Shop Goodwill is one that I've also kind of tinkered on. I've always filtered to my local location so that I can just do a pickup and I don't have to pay for shipping. But again, with the fees, I'd rather know what I'm getting into when I'm bidding on something rather than hidden fees that are hiding. I love you too, sister. Welcome. All right, let's see. So I've never sourced on HiBid. What's another one? Shop Goodwill is another one online. I don't do a lot of online sourcing. There's Facebook Marketplace. Uh, Back during like COVID shutdown days, I would be more open to online sourcing, but it's not as fun. I don't get that same thrill of sourcing in person as I do. I don't get the thrill online as I would sourcing in person. All right, Gretchen's got a question. When you list, do you aim for a certain number of items daily or a certain amount of profit possible, like 500 worth of merch? Daily goals vary. They vary so much. My goal is actually to list anything I picked up that day. That's my goal. Sometimes I pick up 5 things in that day. Sometimes I pick up 1 thing in that day. So I try to avoid having that quote unquote death pile. I want to list anything that I've picked up. So if it's a crazy day and I source 20 things, then I'm going to list 20 things. But I don't have a daily goal because I don't have enough inventory for that. So I can't say that I want to list a certain amount or a certain dollar worth. It's just based on what I sourced that day. Linda Phillip, welcome. What are your thoughts on retail arbitrage or liquidation stores? So, retail arbitrage left a very bad taste in my mouth. I suck at it. Bottom line, awful, awful at it. I tried early on and I bought it was a lot of Walmart clearance. I had done some camping gear, like those like they were like thermos mug, coffee cup, stainless mugs. Quite the description, but I bought them for like $3, and I think I was trying to sell them for 10. And at the time, okay, $7 profit minus fees, minus shipping, minus time, minus storage, not worth it. The problem that I had with retail arbitrage, and it could just be because we're in a smaller town, is everybody's buying all that stuff. And when a lot of the items are going to clearance, whether it's at Walmart, whether it's at Target, that's going on clearance nationwide, or at least in your area. So all of Tucson, I'm sure the entire West Coast, California, Vegas, they're all clearing out the same stuff because we have the same seasons. So it's a quick plummet to the bottom. And I never had success with it. I finally sold there were some Barbies that I picked up on arbitrage probably at least 3 years ago. I paid like $2 or $3 for them, thinking they were going to be worth money. And now, finally, 3 years later, I sold one for $15. I have been storing that Barbie for 3 years to make less than $10. So there's a lot of people that do really well with retail arbitrage, especially if you're really good at it. If you're sourcing at Ross, TJ Maxx, those type of stores, uh, there's some profit to be made, but again, I don't find joy in it. I don't find joy in scanning all the clothing, scanning all the shoes. It feels too corporate. It feels too business. I enjoy the thrill of hunting. I enjoy going to the garage sales and going to the thrift stores and going down the Walmart clearance looking for inventory just seems like work. So to me, it just doesn't fit my plans. Liquidation stores. So there is a new one here in Tucson that is an Amazon return pallet type store. So I am in love. I've been today, I think was my fourth, maybe my fifth time going. And as long as I'm leaving with stuff, it is addicting and I'm loving it. So yeah, if there's other liquidation stores that were options, I would just move in. I can spend an easy 3 hours at this bin store. And today I left with 5 items, but easily $700 to be made with that pile. And I paid 90 for everything, including weird, this new light. I got this today and I plugged it in when I got home. Half of it didn't work. It said, "Hello, go." It didn't have the rest of gorgeous. And luckily, a friend, Mary, I don't think she's on tonight, but Mary was telling me just to cut the bottom off and just have it say hello. So I'm like, okay, that's smart, except it's like glued to plastic. And I'm like, okay, I'd have to get like saws and very dangerous stuff. So I was going to peel off like the plastic rubber that's spelling it out. And that's when I saw the LED lights and where the wire came off to split the go from gorgeous. So I did my own little fake solder job and just stuffed it in the plastic and got the thing to work. So I love it. I think there's definitely risk when you're doing the liquidation stores. Worst case, I was out $15 and I just had a sign that said go, "Hello, go," or just cut off the go and say hello. But yeah, I definitely love liquidation stores. Um, yeah, concerned with the storage. I guess I'll answer the second part of that. I have to keep it limited. I can't go buying a full pallet. That's why I like these type of stores where you're cherry picking these bins. They did the work of buying the whole pallet. I get to cherry pick the stuff that I want from it. I'm not buying all the junk because I couldn't imagine how much they throw away from those bins. There's someone walking around with a trash bag all day long, just throwing away boxes and stuff that's fallen out. And yeah, I could only imagine the amount of garbage you get when you buy those. So I'll let them do the dirty work and I'll just cherry pick what I want. So it's the best of both worlds. What reselling ASP do you aim for when sourcing? ASP, average sale price? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I it's definitely increased over the years. I started with being fine with making $5. Um, and it's quickly gone up. Then I'm like, okay, I want to make at least $10 an item, then at least $20 an item. I like to have an average sale of at least 20 to 50, I think is my goal. And the lower items have to be really high sell-through rates. I want these items to sell fast. So today I purchased a joystick video game Logitech thing and I paid 15 for it and it's worth 40 to $50. 40 plus shipping or 50 with free shipping. So I'm only going to make about $20, but the sell-through rate was crazy. 4x, was it 400x? There was 100 available, 400 sold. So 4 times the sell-through rate. I will easily only make 10 to $20 on an item like that. And it's when you're buying stuff with a very low sell-through rate that I want a much higher profit. So yeah, I think my goal is probably 20 to 50, and then well, the more you pay, the more you want to make. These are great questions, you guys. What happened with the return that eBay sided with the customer and you had to input an appeal? I just had that happen. It really ticked me off. Yes, Tony. So after a lot of fighting, so the first one, yeah, they came back and said, nope, we're going to side with the buyer. And so I wrote back again saying, excuse me, the serial numbers, like you have to understand that when I list my item, that is my item. I'm not just Googling this number to put it on my listing. This is my item. These are my pictures. So they have to understand that as a seller, that's our word. That's our business. This is my livelihood. I'm not going to lie and say fake stuff on my site. So I wrote back saying basically that this is my word. This was my item. And if you don't believe me, what do I have to ever stand on? And they wrote back and they did end up siding with me. So they ended up giving me the refund. I don't know if they took the money back from the guy that scammed, but in the end, I got my money back. So I'd like to hope that he also got his money taken away so that he doesn't do this to somebody else. But just keep escalating it, Tony, and just let them know your side with as much proof as possible. I had done an appeal with a can opener. It was one of those under cabinet can openers where you have to like push the button for it to flop down, right? This is like old school technology when you need to eject something. Like you push it in and it pops out. So this guy, whoever bought it, didn't do that. They tried to use like a knife to try to jimmy this thing open and it busted it up. So then when you went to push it, it didn't pop out. So I get the item back. It's completely broken. He said that he got it broken. I got it. It was brand new. So it's my word against his. I'm saying I shipped it in perfect condition. He's saying he got it and it was broken. So I tried to defend my side. I sent the pictures of it and they ended up siding with the buyer. So he got his money back and I got a broken can opener. So some of it just has to come down to cost of business and making sure that you're buying your items right to begin with. So you're not out hundreds of dollars. Um, and just hope that there's more good in the world than there is bad. That's what it comes down to. Yay, Nutter, you made it. So many of my friends are going over to Discord. I don't even know what Discord is. They're like, oh, I can't make it. I'm on Discord tonight. Like, apparently I'm not a cool kid because I don't even know what Discord is. Let's buy a cheap palette together and try it out. Sure, and we could store it at your house. It'd be fun to go through it, but I'm sure there's just so much junk. So much junk. Yeah. I mean, it'd be fun. I'd want ones with more hard goods. I wouldn't want the clothing. Um, I wouldn't even know. what I would want. So electronics, I'm sure a lot of it's going to be broken. Clothing is too much work. Just come with me to these Amazon bins and go through their pallets. I'm telling you, it's addicting. So just wait. It's definitely addicting. All right, I am gonna pull up if I can do this correctly. Add to stage, ta-da. But now I can't even see it because it's too small. I want to go through these questions. All right, we are over here. Okay, I think you still see me. All right, so challenges that we get. Tony mentioned ownership, including that I take ownership, including organization and inventory. So, my number one thing with inventory is start now. If you do not have any kind of inventory, now is the time to start because going back and trying to inventory 100 items or 1,000 items is going to be a lot harder than when you're first starting out and you only have a couple dozen. So, I think I hit probably about 100 items till I started doing an inventory system, and it's definitely flawed. I don't do anything fancy. There's people that use QuickBooks, and then there's another eBay tax app I've heard a lot about that can track your inventory. I literally just have banker boxes with random letters. I started doing ABC, but then I had too many C's, so then I did like C1, and then I've got like DD2, and then a hot mess. So it's somewhat in order, but the important part is every item is listed under the SKU in my eBay listing. So if it's in box XYZ, it says that it's in box XYZ. I say it's flawed because if I'm in a role and I'm listing and I plop stuff in boxes and forgot to put the SKU in, that makes our job that much harder. And there's times that I've rearranged this recently, going through a lot of garage sale stuff, going through old inventory, and then I was rearranging boxes. I was looking for an item yesterday. It was a Wii that said it was in box S1, and S1 is empty. So it definitely wasn't an S1, and I had to go through. So it's a flawed system. I could always improve, but my number one advice with inventory is start now. And if you're already at such a big store, start small. Get a box and start just one box at a time, getting some stuff in inventory, or even just your new stuff as you get new items, keeping the old inventory and just your mental Rolodex, new inventory in labeled boxes or bins or uh, whatever works for your storage. Bins are good because you can stack. But then I found I'd sell something in a bottom bin and I'd have to move all the bins. So I prefer the metal 5 shelf setup with the banker boxes, and then I don't put lids on my banker. Pardon me, I don't put lids on my banker boxes. I just leave them open so I can grab from them. And then you said organization. That's always a work in progress. I just cleaned out my little, is it a Kelax from IKEA, little 8 shelf cubby thing, and I use that for all my supplies. So trying to keep that organized and not be a hoarder status is it's hard. It really is. I think just baby steps. All right, making time to list consistently and then the inventory. So, time blocking. I definitely highly recommend time blocking. If you're struggling with trying to find that time to list, find that time to source, find that time to do whatever in all of our busy lives, just make sure that you're time blocking at least 30 minutes to an hour of every day. That way, you know it is set in stone that 11 o'clock every day when the kid is napping or so and so is at school or after bedtime, wherever you can find that hour, dedicate it to your eBay time. Oh, Chrissy, welcome. You start say that you list what you source each time. Does that mean you're outsourcing every day? Yes. This is my full-time job. This is what I do. My kids are at school, so I've got an 8-year-old that's at public school full time, and then I've got my 3-year-old that goes to daycare full time. So whenever they're gone, I'm sourcing. So today it was an all-day adventure. I dropped off the little one at 7 a.m. I hit estate sales. I hit our local thrift, and then I headed into Tucson and went to the Amazon bin store. So I didn't get home until after 3 o'clock. The 8-year-old was already home and I was just pulling in. So full day of sourcing, and I've got probably a dozen things between the bins and then my estate finds this morning. So yeah, my goal is tonight to list those 12 items. What are you doing?
Let me try to get on.
All right. Squeaker down here. It's always fun to interrupt mom's lives, isn't it? All right. So yeah, I do source every day. And what's funny is there's a lot of resellers in the area that also source every day. So I'll run into them. There's one that comes up from Tucson because she likes our area better for stuff that she sources. And she comes up here every weekend to source, and I see her all the time. And then one gentleman that pretty sure he does eBay, and he is at the same thrift every day too. Uh, that's it. Okay, we've got Susan had a question here. Currently, I hope this microphone has a really good noise canceling because it's loud in here. All right, currently getting eBay's photos section to not poop the bed on a regular basis. I don't really have issues with the photo section. I don't play with any of their editing tools. The background removal, I feel like all those are glitchy, so I don't really mess with any of those. Getting views on eBay. Just list stuff that people want. I don't even pay attention to views. I pay attention to the sell-through rate and what my item is worth, and then that's it. I'm not going to stalk my items to see, oh, this one only got 5 views, this one has 3 likes. That means nothing. I just want someone to buy it, and it could be sold with one look and one like, and yeah, in the end, it doesn't matter. All right. Let's go over to Facebook was the other one that I got. All right, so let's remove that. Stop that share, add a share, share screen. I don't know how people do this so flawlessly. Okay. All right, those are big eyes. Okay. So same question, biggest obstacles that people had with reselling. I like asking this question. It's such an open-ended question, and I enjoy answering those struggles because everyone can learn. And if other people here have anything to add, please do. Please let us know in the chat what else you would add because I'm only one person talking to myself. So add what you would add. All right. So Patrick asked, do pretty good reselling, got good ratings. So I always tell people about the item, what it's going for online, and go by that. Okay. Here for the comments. That's funny. Listing, I think we touched on that, just time blocking and making it a priority. Mailing, Sue talked about with shipping. So that is always, I feel, the number one reseller holdup. I think there's a lot of people that are just afraid to ship and therefore they don't sell. They don't like shipping, they don't like boxing, they don't like packing, and that is a big part of reselling. I mean, you have to ship it. That's the part I love. I love being able to ship it because when I get people asking for local pickup, they're always a pain in the butt. And this one guy, he wanted to meet all last week, and I had a busy week. So he was wanting to come up and he was passing through my town I think it was Monday night after the holiday. And I'm like, it's my husband's birthday. We're going out to dinner. I can't meet you at that time. And he finally wrote back and just said, "Well, it's not meant to be. Like, just buy it and let me ship it to you. I would love to ship this to you rather than try to meet up in person because it's always a pain. I would much rather ship items all day long." All right. Do I auction or buy it now? Buy it now, 99.99%. I always get undercut when I do bidding or auctions. I think that's saved for very rare items, but I never have luck. I never have luck. I would rather list something ridiculously high, turn on offers, and see what happens, rather than dealing with trying to do a reserve that you're paying for and just hoping for the best. It doesn't work for me. So I personally, 99.9% buy it now. All right. Chrissy's got a question. When you run sales, do you also take offers? I do. I do. And it might be a little aggressive. And when I respond, if they're just totally lowballing, then I'll write back and say, hey, I already have this 15% off, but sure, I'll give you a little bit more. So my sales right now, it's a short window. I did sales for Labor Day, Friday through Monday. And I'm sure I took a few offers in between there, but I was just happy to turn the inventory. I think I had 38 items from Labor Day weekend. It was the busiest weekend I've ever had. And some of that is, yes, because of the sale. That I'm sure is a huge part of it. Some of it is from taking offers, and I'd rather flip the inventory. In the end, I'm not here to store it, and I want to get rid of it. Are you on more than one platform? If so, do you price differently on each one, keeping in mind which one expects deals and if you run percentage, offers, and so on? Gretchen, great question. So I am recently doing more cross listing. I've been using Vendu, and it's definitely made it a lot easier to cross list. I do not change pricing. I base all my pricing on eBay prices. That might be good, that might be bad. I always take offers, especially on Macari. I only cross list to Macari and Poshmark for any clothing, which clothing is maybe 5% of my inventory. I don't like clothes and they bring me zero joy, but I sometimes come into them and I therefore need to list them. So when I have clothes or shoes, I'll put those on Posh, and anything else hard goods wise, I will put those on Macari, but I price it on eBay prices. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what I do. I guess I could go and research on each platform, but again, with time, just the fact that I'm cross listing is like high five to me because that's a task. And just getting it to be cross listed, I'm happy that I made that step. And then to treat it like a totally new listing with new pricing, yeah, no thanks. I'll just take offers if they make them. All right. Do we have any more over here? Um, Sourcing. So I love sourcing. I guess if you do struggle with sourcing, just broaden your horizons. If thrift stores aren't an option in your area, looking online, like Melanie was talking about with high bid, that's always an option. Shop Goodwill is an option. Um, Gosh, there's so many ways that you can source right from home. Marketplace, um, gosh, offer up, next door. I've been seeing a lot of yard sales advertised on next door, so that's a really good one to source on. So I guess if you're saying sourcing, I don't know if it's because you're not finding anything or you're not having enough places to source. But whether broaden your horizon on places to source, and if it's items, start learning some more categories, and that will again broaden it. Heidi was talking about organization. That's a big one, I think, for resellers is trying to keep things tidy and not look like a hoarder. Because when anybody that's not a reseller walks into my eBay room, you look like a hoarder. You walk in and there's a pile of empty boxes. That's the first thing you see. But I recycle boxes and I'm not going to break them all down just to waste tape to rebuild them. So I recycle boxes and those sit in a pile. And then shoe racks, those aren't pretty. They look like a lot of stuff. And I just know that it's my office and it makes money, so I don't care if it looks like a hoarder, but I do respect when it's orderly and I've got my tables cleared off, and it definitely feels good when you've got a clear workspace. Taxes. So an accountant, we 100% pay a CPA to do our taxes, and I can't stress that enough. I don't like doing taxes. I don't like dealing with taxes. I don't like talking about taxes. It's such a messy subject. And what works for one person is not going to work for the other. Excuse me. So for taxes, I recommend an accountant, a CPA, someone else to help you with it. When before eBay, and I was just helping my husband with his home business, being self-employed and working on taxes is always a struggle because you've got so many deductions you want to think about, and there's so many deductions you don't think about, and then the percentage of your house that's your eBay business you get to write off, and all your miles, and so much stuff with taxes. It gets messy. So my tip for taxes is pay somebody. If you don't know taxes, you're not a CPA or an accountant, pay somebody to do your taxes for you. And it's going to save you so much stress. I know I mentioned it earlier. There is a platform that somebody came up with that can do all of your eBay books and all of your eBay inventory. And if somebody knows, say it in the chat. But um, I mean, there's a lot of people that swear by it. And of course, QuickBooks Online. But I don't love it. So I pay somebody. All right, Gretchen, we got another question here. Pull up Google Maps and look up thrift. I found so many thrifts I never heard of doing this, and a lot of them have better prices than Goodwill. That's awesome. I did that, yeah, recently, but probably within the year. I was at Savers or planning on going to Savers, and I reseller Genie. Thank you, Chris. Uh, I was going to Savers, so I just brought in my Google Maps, typed in thrift stores, and yeah, I found a St. Vincent de Paul that was within 5 minutes. And then there was this other one across the street that it's a total ripoff, but occasionally I'll find something and normally they're overpriced. But those were two that became kind of a constant thing just by doing that, just by looking it up on Google Maps. Um, Speaking of Google Maps, I don't know if anyone else does this. Whenever I'm finding garage sales, I save those addresses as a what do we call it? Like a category on Google Maps. So I have saved, that's what it's called. So under my saved, I have a list called garage sales. So then every weekend, starting Wednesday, when they start going in the paper, Wednesday and Thursday, I save them under that garage sales tab, and then I can see it as a map view. So after I drop the kids at school, I can see the map layout and follow it along. And then under notes, I say what day the sale is. If it's on Thursday or Friday, what time. If it's an estate, I'll say which company. So I know if it's a good estate to go first. If it's an overpriced estate, that I know to hit them last. I love Google Maps. And then just Google in general. What did we do before Google? All right. So yeah, Chris, reseller Genie. That's the one I was thinking of. All right, Christy, you have to go. This has been great. Thank you so much for hopping in. Flipped. Is that another app? I haven't checked that one out before. All right. So be sure, let me know in the comments any other questions. Please, let's keep this going. I love answering questions. All right. Did we have any others on here? Okay. So Don had asked people wanting you to, oops, don't click that. Wanting you to drop your price when you know it's already priced cheap. So I'll meet in the middle. When I'm getting offers on something, I'll usually meet in the middle. I had one the other day. It was a $5 item that I got at the Amazon bins thinking that it was worth like 15 or 20, and it was $1 a day. So I grab it, and then after I looked at it more, it was selling for that for a lot of like 3 or 4, and I only had one. So I listed it for $5. Someone sent an offer for $4. Like, really? Okay, yes, I will take your offer of $4. Like, where is someone's brain that they must save $1 on a $5 item? But I guess it's like garage sales. We all do it. So, oh, you want 6 for it? I'll give you 5 or whatever. So I guess we all want a good deal. But I don't take it personal at all. And you can't. Like if somebody sends a low ball, I'll just counter offer. And if their low ball's ridiculous, I'll counter offer with a 1 cent saving. Like sometimes I'll be catty, but I don't let it bug me. If they just want a low ball, then either decline or counter offer. I know exactly what you're saying there. Yeah. So let's see. All right. Chris got a question. What's your listing goal daily? You put by items listed or dollar value listed. So I mentioned this a little bit ago. With my daily goals, I don't have a set number or a set dollar amount to list every day. My goal is to list anything I bought that day. I want to avoid having a buildup of inventory, especially now that we're about to hit our peak season. Starting in September is when our snowbirds start to come back and the church sales start back up. Garage sales start back up. A lot of the estate sales that are closed during the summer start back up. Um, it's peak season. So October, November, September, October, November is prime sourcing. I don't want to have a death pile. So I want to make sure that I am listing daily everything that I picked up. And does it always happen? No, but that's my goal. So I had a couple things I picked up yesterday. I didn't have a chance to test it last night, so it's added to tonight's pile. So I don't have a daily goal in that sense. It's just be sure to list daily and list anything that you bought. Great question. So let's see. Does anyone have any more questions? I don't want to end this at 35 minutes. We've been on, yeah, 30 minutes. Talk to me, people. So I guess we'll share a story. I went to the Amazon bins today and I was super late. So I had a nail appointment this morning and I'm like, normally on $15 day, I want to be in the line. I want to be there when they open it. Last week was my first time going to $15 day and it's crazy. Like Black Friday, elbows are pushing, people are rushing into the store. It's crazy, but that's when you find the best stuff. So I was a little bummed. I didn't get to go today right when they opened. But I'm like, they bring out stuff all day long. They actually didn't bring any bins out today while I was there. So a little disappointed in that. But I get there probably 2 hours after they opened, 2.5 hours, because they opened at 10 and I think I got there around 12:30. I still found some really good stuff. And I couldn't believe it. There was actually the two best things is going to be printer ink. I found HP still sealed, box still sealed, of an ink cartridge that's worth $300. So that was my super find today. It was like a 202X or something, HP, still sealed, and comps are coming in at like $300. So that was my favorite find, and did find a 3 pack of some HP ink, also still sealed. It had the plastic around it still. So that's at least 120 bucks. So even if you're late to the stores, late to the church sales, late to whatever, there is still lots of stuff to be had. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Yes, keep them going in the chat. All right, if you do an Amazon return store, do you try to pick up multiples to make listings even easier? 100%. If I can, if it's something that's still going to be profitable. So, two items that I picked up someday last week, I think $3 day was the Life Vacs. I found these, at first I started seeing just one because everything is spaced out. So you can't see that you're going to find 5 of that item in other bins. You don't know yet. So when I'm looking at these items, I saw these Life Vacs, the CPR choking device things. And after I saw 2 of them, I'm like, okay, this has got to be worth it. So I bought one just personally for our first aid kit, just to have it with having little ones. I good peace of mind to have one of those in the cabinet. So I bought one on dollar day just for us. And then when I found 6 more on $3 day, I bought them all. And I've already sold 4 of those 6. So 100%, when you can buy multiples, and even if you're not making as much, so they're selling for about, I think 35 is what I have them up on eBay. And I want to say free shipping. So about $10 in shipping, $8 depending where it's going. They're super light. So, okay, we're talking $20 profit, but one listing for all 6 items. And that is goal. Like that is the ultimate goal. When you can find multiple of one item that still makes you some decent money, even if it's $5 or $10, you're only having to list it once. So I found those. And then there was this USB, like a USB-C port. It was just an off brand, but they were still selling and they had a pretty good sell through rate. And I was able to find, I think, 3 or 4 of those. And I've already sold one, so the other ones will sell eventually. But absolutely, and you can lower the price on them. Like you don't have to have as much of a margin because you're selling so many of them. If that makes sense. Thank you, Gretchen. That's a great question. When are you gonna do a whatnot show? I don't know. Melanie, I don't know. I had high hopes. I went as far as setting it up And I'm going to need an assistant. I think that's what it comes down to is I want to hire somebody, a kid of a friend or a neighbor kid, somebody to come and prep these shows because you have to list. Okay, let me know if there's an easy button for this because the way I was doing it, I'd find, say, my stuffed animal, it's Lion King, and okay, we got Simba. So I'd go into my list and I'd have to list Simba, I'd have to measure Simba, I'd have to take pictures of Simba, I'd have to say how much I want him for, uh, save him in the platform, and then add him over to the show. Like it was like a 4 to 5 minute process per item. Like, okay, and then you want to have a decent show, so you want to have what, 20 plus items? Like, I don't have time for that. I don't. And I think people hire people. That's, I know Harry Tornado was talking about his, and he said that he hires somebody. So his team lists all the whatnot stuff. And if I can just get somebody in, I'm not even thinking VA. I want someone in person because they have to take pictures. Just hire a high school kid, pay him 20 bucks an hour, a few hours a week to set up a whatnot. Then I will do it. Because I know there's profit there. And that's everybody saying how big live selling is going to be, that's the way to go. Isn't eBay even working on a live selling feature? I think I saw that somewhere. So live selling is the way to go. I just need to stop being a chicken poop and get it done. All right, Vintage Polly, welcome. Do you list seasonal items? Do you list 2 months ahead or what? I list seasonal year round. I don't wait till the season comes. I've sold Christmas stuff in the middle of summer and I've sold Halloween stuff in the middle of January. So I do not separate seasonal items. I guess if I were to, you'd want to be a couple months before the season. But I don't. I list it then. I had some Max houses for Halloween, and I sold one. It was a good one, probably a month or two ago. Like we're still a ways out from Halloween, and I was selling that. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. List it year round because there's people that want it year round. Because you got to think of different seasons people are in. If they're trying to decorate, say, a house that they only go to once a year and they're there now and they want to buy stuff at that house, or I'm thinking like snowbirds, if they want to buy stuff now that they can have delivered to the house that they're at now before they leave it, like there's just different reasons people buy weird stuff in different times a year. So, yeah, list it year round. I would not hesitate. All right. Well, I asked because I checked on Judy and she's killing it. Oh man. I've got to do it. So let me know have you done them? I'll have to talk to Judy because I know there's profit over there. I just need to figure out an easy way to list them. So if anyone knows if I'm doing it the hard way or if that's the only way, then I'll just hire a neighbor kid to come set up these listings for me. Uh, just probably list everything all year round. Yep, people buy Christmas all year. People in different seasons buy different season clothes. 100%, Gretchen, 100%. And I think by waiting, you could be missing your buyer. So don't wait. List it year round. It's a lot of work, yes. I want to find the easy button. There has to be an easy button. When people are listing hundreds of things on their whatnots, unless that's their focus and they're not listing to eBay or Mercari and you buy that item, those box of whatever, and that's all you're doing is putting them on whatnot. But I think I'm overcomplicating it, which I do. What's the sign back here? Hold on while I overthink this. Yeah, that's me. All right, I had daughters show them while you run the computer. Have daughters show them while you run the computer. There you go. She can be my little stuffy showcase. Do you do free shipping or free returns? And why do you choose to do it that way? So, free shipping, the only time that I do free shipping is when the comps are showing free shipping. So, when I'm selling something like I talked about that Logitech Shifty thing today, and most of them were selling as $50 free shipping. I have to match it. I can't go on there and price it at 50 bucks plus shipping because it's not going to sell. Everybody else has free shipping. So that case, it would be free shipping, or I would do $40 plus shipping if I want to make sure I really protect myself. But free shipping, it can bite you. And when you do it, make sure you understand what could be the consequence. Like make sure that you're buying your item right, because if you're going to end up losing money because of the shipping, just charge shipping. If you sit on your item longer, you sit on your item longer. So if I do free shipping, it's usually going to be with first class. That was my old rule before this new Ground Advantage. Uh, Less than a pound, I was fine doing free shipping because it's going to be less than $5, and then you can add $5 to your listing. But rarely am I doing free shipping, and it's only because the comps are showing that everyone else is doing free shipping. Free returns. So yes, I started doing free returns probably about a year ago. The benefits of it with your eBay store, where you get a certain percentage, you go to top rating, you get a percentage cheaper on your listing fees. There were a few perks for doing the free returns. I do not notice a difference in the amount of returns that I get. It did not negatively affect anything. I thought it would. I thought people would take advantage like they do for Amazon, but they don't. And when I was getting returns before, everybody would just say it's because they didn't get item not as described. And they would just lie and say item not as described because that's the loophole to get free returns. Now, at least they're being honest. And when they're being honest and they say the shoes don't fit, these clothes don't fit, they pay for that return. And I make that clear if somebody asks me, like I had some jeans the other day, this guy was asking a million questions on the width of the kneecap and the calf and okay, I'll send you pictures of my measurements, but like good luck. So he gets them and I told him that by the way, yes, I do take free returns, but you're going to pay the return shipping. So they ended up fitting him. So hallelujah, he's keeping his jeans, but um buyer definitely pays return shipping when it's a does not fit or does not like or change my mind. Um any of those reasons, they're going to pay the return shipping. And they could always still lie, say not as described, it was stained, it was whatever excuse they want to put. But by choosing free shipping, it did not negatively affect. You're too chicken, Melanie, for a whatnot. There's a lot of people that don't even show their face on whatnot too. I've noticed like they'll just have a curtain and like the hand will show their items, or they'll just set it on a table and then walk away like behind the scenes. So there's a lot of whatnots that aren't full on QVC stand there displaying your item. So I guess it just depends on your style because there's a lot. It's a scary world over there. Does anyone else do whatnot that's on here or has tried whatnot? I know it's the future and people have called it years ago how big live selling was going to be and they nailed it. Let's see. Keep the questions coming, you guys. I love this. And they can be any questions. If you don't want reseller questions, they can be any questions. I am an open book. So the one bad thing with the Amazon bins is no returns, obviously. I mean, you're buying it as is. So they have a testing station where you can test your items, but again, it's only as far as you can test it right there. So this sign, I can always forget that I'm here. This sign over here is I paid 15, I mean $15 day, but it was super cool. It says hello gorgeous if you can't make it out. Get home and half of it doesn't work. I'm like, oh great, lost $15 on this. But that's the downside. I had bought a vacuum slash blower last week on $15 day. It was just a little super cheapy vacuum thing, but I was wanting it for the blower action. So instead of having 15 cans of condensed air, I can use that to dust out components and whatnot. Um, but it didn't work. So I tried reaching out to the company. That was one loophole. I'm like, okay, there's a little card in here. Tell us what you think of this item. And I wrote to their email address and said, I got this as a gift. It doesn't work. They're like, okay, well, we need the order number. I'm like, it was a gift and I don't know the person. So they're like, well, without an order number, we don't know where to send it. All right, fine. Throw the thing away. So that was my last effort to see if I could exchange it with just manufacturer warranty, but they wouldn't stand by the product. Shucks. All right, Gretchen, thank you. How long have you been reselling? Is it what you thought it would be when you first got into it? So I have been reselling since 2019. I got started when I found my first video of Gary Vanderchuck, or Gary V as he goes by. He has this whole series called Trash Talk, and I don't think he's done it for a while, but he would go around to yard sales and teach people that you can change your life by flipping items online. So, like, he would start out by saying, "Oh, you can make an extra 20 bucks, an extra 50 bucks. What would an extra $100 do for your household if you can make 100 bucks this weekend?" And I was just thinking, like, wow, okay, what is this about? So I'm watching him, and he's flipping mugs, he's buying some t-shirts, he's buying some old sports gear, just lots of random little items. And that kind of just set that light bulb, that little light bulb, like, okay, what's the power behind this? And so I go on that rabbit hole down eBay or YouTube and start watching some resellers. The big ones, of course, show up first. Harry Tornado. I think Philly Flipper was one of the first ones I found. Rally Roots. What are some other big channels? I don't remember, but I'm subscribing to all of them, watching all these different styles and realizing that there's a whole world behind this. And starting out, it was really part-time. It was just going to some yard sales, no pressure, see what I find. And fast forward, now I'm the one throwing elbows trying to get into those bins. So it's a different world than what I thought it would be. I never thought financially it would get to the point that it is. I never thought I could do this full time. And to think that I make more reselling than I ever did working a 9 to 5. And before, call this my past life, 10 years ago, I was a loan officer at a credit union. And before I met my husband and had any idea of being an entrepreneur, I thought that's where I was going to be the rest of my life. And I made decent money. I paid bills, I paid my rent and made decent money. But now to think that reselling makes more than I ever would have made at the credit union just blows my mind. Like, this is a full-time income, and it's a full-time job. Like, I'm outsourcing every single day. And there's some days I'm out for 8 hours, and this is my full-time job. So I never ever would have thought that it'd get as big as it is, and just as serious as it is. Like, it's a job. And I know some people talk down on resellers and say that, like, just talk down on us, that, oh, you're taking from the poor, and um you're price gouging and whatever other bogus crap that people will throw at you. But I'm not doing anything wrong, and anything at the thrift stores is fair game to anyone at the thrift stores. So don't let anyone talk down or talk bad about what you do reselling, because this isn't price gouging. I'm not going out and buying 5 PS5s to sell them for 3 times the amount they're worth. Like, I am buying items that I got cheap and selling them for what they're actually worth. So, like, there's no harm in that. People want these items. People are paying full price for these items because they want these items. And in the end, because I'm able to find it cheaper somewhere else, I can sell it for profit. So I think that's the biggest lesson, is just to understand the professionalism, the possibilities, the future in reselling. So thank you for that question, Gretchen. That was a great question. Laura, I'm a new subscriber. Thank you. Welcome. Love this. I'm a homeschooling mom of 5. Started eBay about a year ago. Oh my goodness, you are my people, Laura. I'm so excited to meet you. Tips about scaling your store. So, my version of scaling was getting better quality, not more quantity. So, I'm limited on my space. I have one room that is dedicated to eBay, and occasionally it'll overflow, and then I shuffle it all back into that room. But that room is all my eBay. I can't put it in the garage because it would melt. I live in a desert. We also get pack rats and bugs, and I just can't trust the garage. We don't have basements. We don't have attics. I get this one room, and while it is a good sized room, that's all I have. So I don't want to scale quantity wise. I don't want to have a store of 5,000 items. I've got just under 1,000 right now. Before my garage sale, I had close to 1,200, and it was stressing me out. So I got rid of a lot of items at that garage sale. I think 1,000 items is my happy place. But by scaling, I want to scale with better quality. I want to buy things that are flipping for $100 or more. So instead of selling 5 things at $10, I want to sell one thing at $50. So that's my version of scaling. I guess If you have the space, you can scale by going to warehouses, by buying in bulk, by clearing out houses, like meeting with estate sales and clearing out the leftover inventory. Like there's ways you can buy in bulk if you want to scale in that sense. But for, pardon me, for me and my business, scaling was a matter of quality and learning more niches and getting better at what you're sourcing and learning things that other people don't know. Like I was saying with the bin store today, going in there 2.5 hours, we're probably at the 3 hour mark by the time I come across the bin with that ink. Two times I found two sealed HP inks. Like if hundreds of resellers went through there and nobody grabbed that. So it just shows you the more knowledge that you can have, the more dangerous you are, the more power you have at these stores because you're going to instantly see the certain items to grab that nobody else does. So, thank you for that question, Laura, and thank you for subscribing. All right. And reach out to me. I also have an email, DesertSellersAZ@gmail. Of course, Instagram, you can message on there. I'm always looking for guests on the show. As you notice, I'm alone right now. So I am looking to fill this spot. I want more guests on here. And I'm always looking for more reselling moms. And homeschooling is a superpower. Wow. And to be homeschooling five, I don't know how you do it. So, Laura, I'd love to talk to you and have you on the show. And if anyone else knows any other mamas, I'd love to have them on the show too. All right. Polly, do I have to have high-speed internet to do a whatnot? I don't think so. People do them from their phone. I know there's actually a lot of people that do it from their phone. They just put their phone up on one of those little tripod things, phone clippy things. That's a phone clippy. And pointed at them and they just run it all from their phone. And you know they are because you see their finger come up to the camera as they're swiping on stuff. So you do not need high speed internet as long as you have cell phone service. Person tortoise waving? I don't know what that is, Laura. Is that an emoji that didn't come through? Oh, it's funny. All right. How many items on average do you have in your eBay store? Ooh, I actually just answered that. So, right now, like I said, just under 1,000, and I don't want to have more than that. So, as season gets busier and I'm coming to my peak season, I know that number's going to grow, but then I'll start running more sales and getting rid of some more older inventory. Laura, I have a 10 by 12 shed, 400 items in my store. So that would be the next step if I had to get a storage unit or a shed. I guess a shed would be on property, which would make it easier. Then you don't have to go somewhere to pick up your items. We don't have any land to put a shed, so it'd have to be a storage unit. And I don't like the idea of having to go and pick items somewhere. I'd rather just go to my eBay room and pick items there. So if I had to, that's definitely an option. And if you've got land to have a shed or a backyard, you could put a shed. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Listing 4 items a day. That's awesome. Yes, Chris. So I've got Rachel lined up for October. So busy schedule for her. So she's going to join me in October. And reselling mom was that. Are you saying that Rachel is a reselling mom? Yes. So she's going to be on in October. What was your best find ever? Ooh, I asked this question on all my lives, and I rarely answer it. I'm gonna go with recently was that toy lot. I had bought a tote of because my brain only goes back so far. So I bought a tote of old toys. These were Masters of the Universe. There was She-Ra. There was Ninja Turtles. There was gosh, hundreds of figures and play sets and playset parts and accessories and weapons. I paid $10 at a garage sale. I couldn't believe it. $10. And I think I made between $900 and $1,000 on that whole thing. And I still have some stuff listed. I've got some old turtles that are listed for over $100. So that was, yeah, I'd say probably close to 1,000. And then my ultimate best profit wise, biggest dollar amount was a water ionizer. It looked like a water blender. It looked like a blender and you just blend water. So I'm like, okay, what in the world is this? And I look it up and it was going for new for over $2,000. 2 or 3,000. It was crazy. And so there weren't any listed used. I'm like, all right, we're gonna take a risk on this. I paid up. I think I paid $200 for it, and it sold pretty quickly within a few weeks for like $1,300. So that was a doozy. That one's probably my highest dollar amount item. Um, Worst buys, ones that I end up redonating. Stuff that looks like a good deal or ended up being broken because I was not smart enough to look in the battery compartment. Um, those are worst. Probably some of my bulk buys. I had bought a bunch of Scentsy, thinking, okay, if I spend $200 and just buy them all, it's gonna make its money's worth. Because if you can buy in bulk at a garage sale and just buy it all for one price, that's usually a good thing to do. So they had these Scentsy warmers for like 15 a piece or something. I said, okay, how much for all of them? Let me just buy them all. And I know some are worth more than others. I forget what I paid, probably $200 for all of them. And I'm still sitting on probably over half of those. So that goes under a worst buy just because I'm still storing so many. Starbucks tumblers. I kind of redeemed myself with those. I bought same thing. I bought at a garage sale. She had them priced at like 15 each. I was able to talk her down to $8 each, and I bought them all. I think I sold maybe two of them on eBay. There was, I think, 15 to 20 of them. And I bought sold two on eBay, and then the rest of them went to my garage sale. And I was strict at my garage sale. Like everything else is $1, but these cups, they're $12. You're not getting these for any cheaper. So as the sale progressed, the last day, at the last couple hours, I cleared out a few more at the $8 that I was in them. And I think I came home with two cups, and I'm just going to keep them for personal. So that was a bad buy in the end. Do more research. I know that Starbucks tumblers, some of them can be really good if they're the sought after ones. If they're old season or just not a sought after color, you're going to sit on them for a very, very long time. So Starbucks tumblers are not going to be my investment. Starbucks mugs, that goes under another really good find. Starbucks mugs, I met with a military. She was in military. It was a garage sale, community sale. And she had all these mugs from traveling all over the world. So there were some weird countries that I couldn't even tell you where they're located. And they were worth, I think some of them sold for like 70 to $100 for some of the super random ones. And then there was a lot of the states. Those were still doing okay, like 20 to 30 a piece. And I think I bought those for like $4 a mug. So the where are you mugs, all the state mugs and the country mugs, those hold their value. Tumblers, not so much. So thank you for that question. All right. 865 picker. Do you have certain days of the week that you ship on only those days, or do you ship whenever you have a sale? Also, how many steals do you have per day? So I ship daily. I have one business day processing. So every morning I am shipping items. I do not ship on the weekend. So Monday through Friday. And of course, holidays I don't ship as well. So Monday through Friday is your answer. And every single day. And then I do it at a certain time. Like it's a morning thing that I package my items, unless I like today I knew I was going to be gone first thing in the morning. I packaged last night and took my packages with me. So Smart Gen will package the night before. Lazy Gen will just package the next morning. Just depends on my mood. Because after listing and putting the kids to bed, it's 10 o'clock. I just want to sit and read a book. So I don't always get my packages done the night before. And how many steals or it means sales do you have a day? I'm guessing you mean sales. Um, every day is different. So weekends usually 10 to 15 on the weekend. Except Labor Day was an absolute gangbuster at almost 40 items. During the week is usually 3 to 5. Some days I'll have 8. Um, it's really random. Like today, I've had 3. One or 4, and then one canceled because wife already bought it or some whatever. So 3 to 8 a day, I'll say during the week. Great question. Sorry, I meant how many sales do you have a week? So a week, I guess doing the math, if I have a 15 item weekend, maybe 5 a day. So that would give me 25, maybe 40 a week. It's so sporadic. There'll be weekends that I have 5 items sell. Then there's weekends that I have 20 items sell. And then during the week, same things. There's days that I'll have 1 or 2, and then there's days that I have 8. It really, there's no rhyme or reason to how many sales I get in a week. Text to talk sometimes it's like playing Mad Gab, trying to figure out what I'm saying. I got what you're saying. I love text to talk. That's my easy button. Even just texting with people, I'll just talk it into Google keyboard and have it type it for me. I love that. Mary, you made it. Yay. So speaking of text, I was doing an Instagram comment and I said Mary with her name and it spelled it Marry. So to correct myself, Mary, I wasn't spelling her name wrong. It was text to talk. And usually it's pretty spot on, but not always. And especially if you have an accent or mumble or have background noise. Yeah, my texts can get crazy. I used to have a full set of the classic Starbucks white mug with black lettering. I only have one left, and it's my favorite mug. Yeah, so there are profits in Starbucks. I think sticking with the ceramic. I'm going to go with the ceramic is where the money is on Starbucks. The plastic tumblers are so like when you're a collector, you want the newest one. And I'm not going to be in line at Starbucks to pay $30 for a mug to sell it for 35 or 40. So when I'm finding it at the thrift store for $3 or $4, I'll try to flip it. But I think the plastic ones, I'm just going to leave them behind. It's been great getting to know you. I appreciate all the advice. Good night, Gretchen. Thank you so much for coming. You can call me whatever you want. I'll be nice. I just called you Mary, like Merry Christmas, instead of Mary Mary. Let's see. That is, that's, yeah, I answered that one. Keep the questions coming, you guys. It's so fun when you interact and you engage and the chat is happening because talking to myself for an hour, it could be hard. I mean, I bet I could do it, but it's hard. And trying to come up with more stuff to say. Mary the Thigh Queen? Thunder. Oh my goodness. You ladies, you're hilarious. All right. So how was the rest of the whatnot? Did you catch the end of that, Mary? For Judy? You are super silly. I will give you that. Oh, ladies. All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I guess we will wrap it up. She's still going. Wow. Holy moly. Yoshi, you made it. And I was getting ready to cut off. So, do you have any questions, Yoshi? Since you made it to the live, I want to answer any questions that you have. We've done this kind of open Q&A. Any questions for reselling or my personal reselling business? Uh, the spotlight's on you. So, fire away. We went through some objections. So, if you're just hopping on now, make sure you watch the replay so you can see and hear any of those objections that we covered. Rachel stole all the tie-dye. Tie-dye is hot. My daughter is obsessed with tie-dye right now. Aren't all divas? Yeah. Diva with the tude. She's going to be fun to have on the show. Mary, I want you on the show too. So we got to look at your football schedule. Gretchen, thank you. Hit the thumbs up, peeps. Yes, you'll definitely have to watch. All right. Well, if you don't have any questions, then Yoshi, I will be saying goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. This was so much fun, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on here and supporting me as a solo show, as Mom Who Resells instead of Moms, because no guest today. But I think it was a lot of fun, and I finally got it. The football schedule. Yes. So let me know which day you want to come on. But yes, thank you so much for coming on here tonight. I hope everyone has a fabulous, fabulous weekend and lots of garage sales and lots of amazing sourcing and beautiful weather. We're still miserable, but we'll get beautiful eventually. So I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you so, so much for joining me tonight. And I will see you guys on the next one. Have a good night.